Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is your boy Alex. I'm back. It is 3 o'clock, 3 afternoon, and I'm back to do back to back YouTube videos for my original channel. Now, one's going to get uploaded maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours from now, and the other one will film it, and then I'll decide if I want to drop that one tonight or tomorrow. Thing is, you don't want to drop too many YouTube videos in one day, because sometimes if you wait too late to do a video, things of that nature, people will get upset because you're not making yourself perfectly clear. Now, this is a YouTube video that's going to go on one of my other channels, and if it gets well received, then I'll put it on my other channel. But I have something for everyone. Now, the first video is for women and for men. I mean, it's really a man video, but women can watch. It's actually a motivational self-improvement video. It's starting to become very popular on YouTube. If you make a self improvement video for men, then it's only respectable and fair that you make one for women. So I'm going to make one for women too, because I don't want nobody fighting in the comment section, nobody arguing among themselves and saying, you made one for men. How come you didn't make one for the women? Or vice versa, you made one for women, but you ain't made one for men. So we're gonna make two videos. Now, the one that's gonna be made for women, that one might come either Wednesday or Thursday. I might make it into Wednesday or Thursday because there's a lot of basketball games, and that might be the right time to actually drop that video. This one's gonna be called Sex Game, Good Looking Men versus Non Good Looking Men Part 1. Now, before anyone gets mad at the cell phone or laptop or computer screen and throw a basketball, tennis shoe, let me explain myself in at least 1 to 5 minutes why the title of the video is called that and why I'm making the video. I don't want nobody to go into what they call a red pill rage. No, I am not a pickup artist. I'm not a dating coach. I don't condone any negative behavior that pickup artists and dating coaches do. And at the same time, I am not a midtown. So before anyone starts rushing in the comment section and trying to accuse me of being a professional pickup artist or a dating coach, I am not a pickup artist. I'm not a dating coach. Yes, this is a lame disclaimer because YouTube watch all my videos in the algorithm. I have men and women who watch my YouTube videos. And before anyone gets confused and wonder what's the name or what's the purpose of the name of the title of the video, it's an argument that's been going on the internet for the past 12, just about 12 months. For this whole year, this argument's been kicking off, and I want to give my commentary on the good, the bad, and the ugly of this subject and why it's being made into a video. I was trying to wait until January, the first week or the second week of January 2021 to do the video, but apparently I have a friend of mine who's been talking about this subject for the past 6 to 8 months, and he insists that a video gets made because he wants me to give my commentary on what do I think about this subject. Now, that's reason number one and reason number two. Now, the third reason why the video is being made is because there's this thing that men in the midtown space or red pill space, they always argue you don't have to be very physically sexually attractive to get women. And then there's one group of men who will continue to argue and argue and argue that you have to be physically sexually attractive to women. And no matter which group you're in, you could be in both groups. You can be in the good looking man group or the non looking. So we're going to call it good looking versus non good looking men to compare and contrast part one and part two. I can't put everything into one video and that's the end of the conversation. You know how I do my YouTube videos by now. You've been watching me for like 12 months. You know how I do my videos. If it's well received, we get a part two. If part two is better than part one, we do a part three. And for some reason, if all three videos are very successful, only then I make a part four or a part five. So I think this might get broken into three videos. It might just be a part three series. It is self it is self-explanatory in two videos, but sometimes the reason why it gets broken into three videos or four videos is sometimes I like to be a documentary YouTuber. Like there's being a YouTuber and then there's being a documentary YouTuber. And sometimes I'll be watching a lot of documentaries and I be wanting to make, a documentary series so it's a little bit more fun, more unpredictable, more challenging instead of the usual same old predictable thing. All right. This one, the reason why, so the title of the video is going to be called Sex Game, Good Looking, Good Looking Men versus Non Good Looking Men. So try not to take the title highly offense to it. I might change up the title to make it more presentable, more respectful. I am not here to offend any men, black men, white men, Latino men, Asian men, young, old, black or white. I'm not here to offend any man of any race of age, okay? It's just the name of a title of a video. I don't want no one to be angry or triggered because I said something and they don't understand the purpose of me of saying it. This is me making myself 100% clear. It's just the name of a title of a video. Like I did with my video from a week or 2 weeks ago called Sex Game, YouTube being portrayed in the bad light. So if you look at that series that had two videos, this is kind of like a similar thing. It could have two videos, it could have three, it could have four videos in the series. It's me just explaining a subject matter that everyone's talking about. That's all I'm doing as a YouTube content creator. All right, let's get into the subject matter. Now, most men, and I say most men can relate to the idea when someone asks them their true definition of what being physically sexually attracted is. To me, it's a combination of things. Going to the gym, you do fitness, you do cardio, you do weight training. Some men go to the gym 2 times a week, some men go to the gym 3 times a week. For me, I would always go to the gym at least 2 to 3 times a week and focus on cardio, weight training, burn fat, build muscle, try to get bigger, stronger, and faster, watch what I eat, watch what I drink, and try to be in good physical shape. Now, does that play into women finding you very physically sexually attractive? The answer to that question is 99.99% yes. The vast majority of women are going to find you very physically sexually attractive because you go to the gym. Now, we have this group that wants to break these things into categories. So, this is if you're a good looking man. Most good looking men are going to credit their success to their looks. Now, you've always heard the term looks, money, and status. So, this is my own version of that theme. Instead of saying money, looks, and status, we're just going to call it good looking men versus non good looking men. I'm about to do the compare and contrast, how they're similar, how they're different, how both groups have advantages and disadvantages, and how they're the same. That's what we're going to be getting to the end conclusion is how is both groups the same or how they're different. Now, if you're a good looking man, you know what I'm talking about. About 80 to 85, sometimes 90% of the time, you get a lot of attention from a lot of women. Black women, white women, Latina women, Asian women, young women, old women, a combination of the two. And you get to take women out to lunch and dinner, you get their phone number, and maybe 5 or 6 months or 10 months later, you're in a long term or short term relationship with a woman. And most guys know what I'm talking about. Some guys have had good experiences with women their whole entire life. High school, college, in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s. Just overall, you got some guys that have always had the best experiences, good experiences with women across the board. That they can relate to it. And then you have the non-good looking guys, the guys who've been overlooked their whole entire life since high school, college, in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s, and they want someone to explain to them why all of a sudden it's 10, 15, 20 years later and they feel like they're barely getting any attention from anyone. Well, this video is to try to explain the good, the bad, and the ugly of both groups. I shouldn't tell you you should look at it in terms of alpha male versus a beta male because they've used that title so many times for the video that there's no point in me using it at this point. So that's why you see the title that you see. Now, that's if you're a good looking guy. Now, to a non good looking guy, you're told you need lots of money, lots of status, you need to get a house, you need to get a car, and women will pay attention to you. Now, that is true. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you and lie to you and tell you it's not true. You do need money, you do need status, you do need a house and a car. Now, non good looking men, to answer the question, do they need more self improvement? The answer is yes, they need more self improvement. Now, you always hear people tell you you always hear them say looks is not important. And this is why I get angry and upset with pickup artists and dating coaches when they make these videos on the internet and they lie and tell people who are not good looking, non good looking, that looks have nothing to do with it. See, here's why I can't stand pickup artists and dating coaches. Pickup artists and dating coaches is all about being a car salesman. They want to sell you the idea that you don't have to be physically sexually attractive with women. That's a lie. Because if you ask any of the pickup artists and dating coaches, if you could pick your own basketball team, would you pick the guys that are between 5'10" to 6'6", or would you pick guys that are not athletic and good looking to play basketball? They're going to pick the guys that they know is going to help them win the most basketball games because the name of the game is to win. This is why I don't. This is why I don't understand why some people waste their money on these 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour pickup artist seminars. These quote unquote dating coach boot camp nonsense. It's nonsense because when you waste $200, 300, 400, 500, $1,000, $3,000, there are stories out there of guys spending 10 to maybe 15, maybe possibly $20,000 in 10 years to learn from professional pickup artists and dating coaches because they're sexually frustrated and they feel like they're not getting no women attention. To me, that's a bit excessive. That's too extreme. And you will never see me in history ever save up $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 to $15,000, or even $20,000 cash because I'm getting rejected by this girl or that girl or that girl. When you spend that much money and then 5 or 10 years go by and you get scammed out of your money by pickup artists and dating coaches, you don't get that money back. You lose that money. And these guys are seeing it as a business. They'll come at you with these pitches. Oh, buy my DVDs, buy 5 DVDs, buy 10, 15 DVDs. No matter how many DVDs you get, that is not going to change the reality that you're still going to get rejected at the gym, at the nightclub, the bar, at school, at work. It's not going to change the outcome. You could buy 5 books, 10 books, you could buy 15 books. That's still not going to make the girl that rejected you from 10 years ago see you any different. That's why I have an issue with pickup artists and dating coaches. They lie. They are like car salesmen. You ever buy a car and the outside of the car looks so nice and so attractive that you just have to look at the car? But then what happens when you take it to an auto repair shop? What happens when the car mechanic tell you this car is 5 or 10 or 15 years old? We got to replace the doors, the windows, the windshield. We got to take the engine out. We got to put a new engine in. What happens when you get told that the car needs a lot of work? Well, pickup artists and dating coaches target young guys from the age of 18 to 27 who have no motivation and no confidence. So when you graduate from high school or college and you're from the age of 18 to 27, they are targeting men in their early 20s who are not who don't have no good motivation, no confidence in themselves, and then you get targeted by pickup artists and dating coaches, and then they sell you this nonsense that this quote unquote magic pill is gonna help you get women's attention, and then you waste 5, 10 years thinking this, and then when you're between the ages of 30 to 35, you're mad because you're almost 40 and you're just now realizing that the stuff they just told you was a bunch of lies. That's what happens if you're a non good looking guy. You fall for all these tricks of deception. Now, self improvement is key. Okay, that's the whole point of this video. The good looking guys have to self improve themselves. Now, to non-good looking guys, it don't look like it and it don't seem like it. And I'm about to explain what happens when the two guys fight each other over trying to get female attention. Good looking guys, from what I understand, really, really good looking guys. Good looking guys take care of their body. They eat their fruits and vegetables. They drink lots of water. Now, you still got to have money and status, okay? I don't care if it's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You have to have money and status and game, and you got to learn how to talk socially. That's another reason why these guys are able to take women out to lunch and dinner. It's their social interactions. When I was in high school and college, I was not that very good at talking to women. I talked about it early this year on YouTube, but I guess I'll have to reiterate that in this video. I used to get rejected a whole lot by women, okay? Because I didn't know how to talk. I didn't know how to socialize. I was too timid. I was too standoffish. I was too shy. I was scared of constructive criticism. And the reason why I'm bringing that into the fold is because I went through that in high school and college. Nothing happened overnight. Me being popular on YouTube, that didn't happen overnight. It took at least 8 years, 8 to maybe, I want to say 8 or 9, maybe 10 years for me to learn how to get on YouTube, how to cut a video, how to produce a video. I had to learn to label the videos. I had to start putting stuff in the description. I had to name the videos properly. I had to know when I was making a video too long, too short. None of that happened overnight. It took me 10 years to watch big name YouTubers, bigger than me, more popular than me, got more views, more subscribers than me, on how you make videos. There were days where I made videos too long. There were days where I made videos too short. There were videos where I was all over the place and people couldn't understand nothing I was saying. I mean, if you just go back 4 or 5 years ago, people was like, "Bruh, your videos is too long. They too short. You got to start naming the title of the videos. You got to start putting stuff in the description." And slowly but maturely, I started watching other people's videos, and the more I practiced, the better I got. Self improvement is a lot like that. Now, the reason why I'm trying to explain in this video what good looking guys see, good looking guys go through criticism. We have good days, we have bad days. I have my good days and my bad days. Sometimes making YouTube videos is easy, sometimes making YouTube videos is hard. Sometimes self improvement is easy, sometimes self improvement is very hard and complicated. Sometimes I know exactly what I'm doing when I'm self improving, and sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. So I understand both groups. I understand the non good looking guys. They think it's the end of the world. Nobody likes me. Nobody talks to me. I know what that feels like. All of high school, I was ignored. Most of college, if not of all of college, I was ignored. It wasn't until my late 20s, early 30s that I started to get lots of attention from black women, white women, Latina women, Asian women, young women, older women, BBW, golf women. Somewhere in my late 20s, early 30s, then I started getting lots of attention from women. Like it just came from out of nowhere. That might be because I got more motivation and I did a lot of self improvement. Now, does that mean from a scale from 1 to 10 that I'm a 10? No. I'm not a 10. Never have, never will. Am I a 9? Nope, not a 9. Am I an 8? Am I an 8.5? At one time in history, I could have been an 8.5. I would probably say I'm in between a 7.5 and maybe a solid 8. On my best days, I'm an 8, 7 to 7.5 at best. My worst, probably a 6 to a 6.5 at my absolute worst. Reason why I'm saying that is because what I've noticed about non good looking guys is that they always focus on from a scale from 1 to 10, how good do I look to the woman? Now, to me, that's something you do when you're in high school and college in your early 20s. When you get in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, you have to grow out of that because it's going to come down to, do you have a lot of money and a lot of status? Do you know how to talk to women socially? As you get older, the tables turn. That's something that the pickup artists and the dating coaches lie to you. 99.999% they lied to you about. They want you to think it ain't looks, but then they also don't want to tell you that as you get older, You're going to need to make a certain amount of money and status that's going to help compensate for the fact that you don't have the looks. It ain't never one thing by itself. Now let's get to the good looking guys. Do good looking guys make mistakes? Yes. I've seen plenty of guys when I was in high school, college, in my 20s and 30s that were very good looking get rejected by a lot of women, either because they didn't know how to talk to women, either because they didn't have no motivation, no confidence, either they were too arrogant, too into themselves is the word I'm looking for, and they got rejected as a result of it. I've seen guys play basketball, football in high school. When they graduate from high school and college and they get into the real world, they get rejected by a beautiful, attractive woman because the woman may not be interested in what the guy has to bring to the table. And this be a good looking guy. See, you got to stop looking at all those movies and television shows that good looking guys don't ever have nothing bad happen to them. You know, some people think I'm very physically sexually attractive, and then you have another group of people who think I am not physically sexually attractive. I have been rejected um, plenty of times in the past. And people be like, you big, you strong, you know, you bench press 300 pounds, 400 pounds, you know, you can leg squat 400 pounds, you know, you take care of yourself, you look good. I've been rejected despite of me looking good. I've got rejected at my absolute best. I've got rejected at my absolute worst. So I understand both groups. I understand what both groups experience. Now, if you get a lot of attention when you're in high school and college, sometimes it carries over into your adult life. Sometimes when you get in your 30s and your 40s, you get more attention than you did when you was in your 20s. I was not popular in junior high. I was not popular in high school. I was not popular in college. All I did was self-improvement. That's all I ever did was self-improvement. Now, do good-looking guys do self-improvement? The answer is yes. Now, why do you see a clash between good-looking men and non-good-looking men? The reason why you see a clash, like Clash of the Titans, if you ever seen the movie remakes, is because good looking guys don't understand the pain and the suffering that non good looking guys experience 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Like, imagine if you lived in a world where every day you went to work, every day you went to school, you got rejected for 5 years, 10, 15 years. That's what the non good looking guy goes through. You're too short, you're too fat, you're not in athletic shape, you don't have no looks, money, and status. That's what the non good looking guy goes through. And when the non looking guy gets some money and some status, he gets attention, but he upset because the non good looking guy is not trying to really understand where he's coming from. Now, where does the hate, the player hate, come from? Now, good looking guys be like, well, he's a player hater. I understand the math and the science and the aspects of player hate. Sometimes non good looking men player hate because the non looking guy could be 5'10" to 6'2", 220 pounds, rock solid muscle. That guy's got a house. That guy's got a car. That guy might make, I don't know, maybe between 15 to 20, sometimes $30 an hour. This guy dates super hot, attractive women, and he's popular. And everywhere he goes, people see him everywhere he goes. And sometimes the non-good looking guy feels like the good looking guy does not know what it feels like to go through the pain and the suffering. So the non-good looking guy starts player hating because the good looking guy, he got it so easy. Like everything comes natural to him. Like everything's easy to this guy. This guy can walk into a nightclub and before he opens his mouth and even says a word to black women, white women, Latina women, or Asian women, the good looking guy gets maybe 5 out of 10 phone numbers every Saturday night that he goes to the club. Why the non good looking guy, it might take him 2, 3, maybe 4 hours to get just one phone number. So you see where they're both different. Now here's where the similarities come together. The good looking guy do experience rejection. Oh yeah, I've seen some good looking guys get rejected by some beautiful, attractive women in my 20s, even now. And I've seen non good looking guys date some super hot, attractive women. Now, you might argue, well, that's money and status. Okay, money and status does help a whole lot in the situation. This is only part one of the video. Part two, we're going to talk about why do non-good looking men keep comparing their girlfriends to the girlfriends of the good looking guy? Because there's that argument on the internet, and I've seen videos about it, but I've never really sat down and really gave my explanation on, do I think that's good or bad for you to have a girlfriend and to compare your girlfriend to another guy's girlfriend because you want to be the good looking guy. I think that's what the problem we have. We have non-good looking guy want to be the good looking guy, and good looking guy sometimes understands what that person is feeling and what that person's not feeling. So that's where we get the clash of the titans coming from. This is part one of the video. Part two in the video, I'm going to break down and explain why I think it's good to just be yourself if you're a non-good looking guy, and what are the consequences of trying to become somebody you're not. That means what happens when you try to imitate somebody from a movie or a television show and it backfires and it doesn't go the way you go. See, part two, we're going to go far more deep into the subject. Until then, peace.